But yeah, I don't know, when I was thinking about this, I was trying to figure out what would actually get people talking. Like, I mean, everybody's always like referring to COVID right now, um, and I think that's the major focus right now. But that's not what I'm like trying to do this for. I'm trying to do it for the people that like need something to actually talk about other than the COVID. Like they not even a safe space. It's just like stuff you don't normally talk about that's like taboo.
Hmm.
Like people feel like they can't go to other people and just ask them out of the blue, "Hey, what do I do if my appendage looks like this or something like that?" Like, but or like are having girlfriend issues and they can't talk to any of their friends, can't talk to any of their friends about it. They give them bad advice, stuff like that. I'm usually good at listening, and you're pretty good at giving advice, so I think we kind of play off that because
Right.
I think we both have like the mentality of asking the right questions to get people to communicate. So
Yeah. I mean, I think first thing is just creating an environment where people feel comfortable and safe to talk about it. Just because, like you said, it's bad stigma around it, and it's not exactly what people want to do. People don't want to burden people with problems and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, we all got it. You know what I mean?
yeah,
You
it's
know.
not something that's like it's not something where you're gonna find one person per se that doesn't have anything wrong. That just doesn't exist. Everybody's going
Mhm.
through something. So, and I feel like if we take like a serious approach to it, because a lot of people, I mean, humor is fine. Humor heals the soul and everything. But a lot of people, I feel like, downplay a lot of issues, a lot of serious issues out there, especially with the younger generation, where it's frowned upon to take stuff seriously. It's frowned upon to like take COVID seriously, STDs, anything out there that deals with like bettering yourself or mental health or health issues. People make fun of it. So I think this would be a good opportunity for us. I think to tackle a lot of that, help some people out, change some lives here. At
Mhm.
least for me, that's what I look at it as. I know you do that every day on a daily basis, but like I mean, this is an opportunity for me to kind of expand on that for myself as well. And
Yeah. I
I'm
mean,
gonna say a lot of people just pretty much ask us like our own personal experiences.
yeah. I mean, I think given how what you've been through, you a good poster child for being able to open up, talk about
Yeah,
stuff to let people know that it can be cool and doesn't have to be taboo like you say. And sometimes it's just about getting stuff off the chest.
exactly. Like that's 100%. People, I hear it all the time. People are just like, "Hey man, how do you do it?" Like, dude, you're so strong for going through what you're going through. And I'm like in my head, I get that, and I appreciate the vote of confidence, but it's not something that I don't see the same person asking me that question doing. Like I'm just human, just like the rest of the people that just come to me with the same question. They're like, I don't know how I would do it. I mean, you just get through it. You build upon it. You take care of yourself first and foremost.
Right.
Come on, man. We're trying to be serious here. But no,
But like you said, that right there, I got your stream up. That right there is a very common self-defense mechanism. Like you said, we use humor, and there's nothing wrong with humor, but people's first instinct for some things like this is to say something like that, which is fine. All jokes aside, you're gonna say what you're gonna say, but more comfortable to do that and risk coming across as potentially crossing a line than to say, you know what, stuff bothers me. You guys are talking about something I think about all the time. I'd rather make this type of pun or this type of joke. You see what I'm saying?
okay, yeah. I can see that. See, that's what I'm saying. That's why that's a good fact because even though we have the same mentality, me and Scotty over here, we pretty much the way we handle stuff is a little bit different. He's in a sense like he's the actual therapist here, so he has professional experience and everything. How many years have you been doing this? Like, so 10 years with mental health experience, and for me, Like, since I don't have the experience, I don't know how to respond to a question like that. So I respond differently. As far as like you can see, I said, "All right, come on, man, we're being a little bit serious here." Even though I know you, I know you're like being lighthearted about it and you're making a joke because I know you're wicked. But that's one of those things where it's hard to tell. Um, it's hard to get the context of if somebody's joking or that's a serious comment over like the internet. So okay. I appreciate it, then, man. You're always good for a good laugh. You guarantee it, man, for sure. Um, I think the big thing is for me. I just wanted to like get like the jump off going. For a while, I had like Elemental Plateau. I had like two streams going, and they went well. I had a couple of young people up there who, obviously, I had way different life experiences from them. One of them was gay. The other one was bi, and both of them were kind of like ostracized by the family. So we would go through that. But I wish I would have kept up with it. And honestly, it would probably been in a better place for like this stream, this I want to say this open discussion to kick off. So it's better late than never, though. That's the
Right.
major thing. Like I'm always willing to help people, and it's the same thing. Like I said, Scotty does this on a regular, like pretty much every day. So we stuck our heads together, and we basically said, hey, like let's make an open discussion. Let's put it out there, get people's opinions, get them to ask questions, get them talking, um, and basically get down to the nitty gritty of like stuff that affects us every day. I think it could change a lot of people out there. I know a lot of people hit me up off to the side and ask me a lot of questions about what goes on in my daily life and what I'm dealing with. And for them, I feel like this is probably the better way to introduce them to it because it's not just like a one session type thing. Appreciate it, Stewie. Thank you. But it's not like a one session thing where you can cover it in 30 minutes. It's something that like I go through on a daily. I get up in the morning. My morning's probably like the rest of you guys to get up, shower, or whatever, get some food. But there are certain things that are different. Prime example is like my hygiene routine. Since I have there's scarring on the side of my left head. So normally you guys take like what 15-minute showers, something like that. For me, I have to take an abnormally long shower because I have to actually clean around that area and like clean off the blood. It's still producing blood, so that's one of those things where like I mean it's not normal, but I can cover it in this and pretty much any question that you guys have, you're more than welcome to ask, like me or him, for sure. Um, how are you doing today, by the way, Stewie? How's everything going? And tell your friends about it, man. Have them swing by. You know, tell them to come through. If they got anything they want to ask or talk about. Yeah, that's good. That's really good. Good to hear. Like, anything been affecting you recently? How you dealing with COVID?
Yes!
Hey, Dave, what's going on, man? How you doing, bro?
Every 5 minutes there's something a bomb or something. I'm leaving.
What's going on, man? Long time no see. Unexpected waves? I mean, I can honestly, Scotty, if you want to touch on that one first, I can probably go on for a while, but I figure you'd probably be more concise about it.
Well, I mean, you talk about depression that might come in unexpected waves. The question would be, is this, diagnosed depression, or is this just feelings of depression and sadness that are intermittent, come out of nowhere, and that kind of thing? And how noticeable is it?
That's good, man.
Think, because diagnosed depression uh, is something that sometimes can get misconstrued because of, you know, what the pop culture thinks is of depression. But depression, most people who have clinical depression, you'll know because those individuals have periods of time where they're so depressed and so unmotivated and so unhappy that they literally won't do anything. They won't even talk to people about their depression because it's physically too painful to do so. Now, that doesn't mean to say people who don't have that don't have pain and despair and feelings of depression, but it may be more environmental where it might just take a little more effort on self-care and coping skills to kind of push through it.
Right. I can definitely agree on that one. For me, I can safely say I don't know if my parents are watching this or not, but there's been a couple of times where I go through the struggle of asking myself, do I really need to see a therapist or a psychiatrist to like so I can actually get diagnosed? But then I actually talk myself out of it. So as far as I know, I could have depression. I couldn't. I'm not sure. But that's one of those things where I've never fully actually went to like Scotty or another therapist and been like, hey, is it okay if you diagnose me or tell me? It's one of those things. For me personally, it's how would I say, speaking transparently, I would rather tighten my belt, and this is something that I don't recommend doing, but I'd rather tighten my belt than actually ask someone for help, if that makes sense. It's something that I feel like as a man that I should like handle on my own. Um, and I can't say that that's healthy. I can't say that that works for anybody else. Um, I wouldn't recommend doing it. I would say it's probably better to ask for help, but that's that's a stubborn habit that I need to work on and break, and I've been struggling with for years upon years. So that's that's one of those things where I would say it's better for you to go to a therapist and find out if you suffer from diagnosed depression rather than you wait too long and then you become even more mentally unstable, and by then it's a lot harder to deal with. So I guess that,
Sure. I think, that what you described is probably how a good percentage of men and a good percentage of women go about trying to manage their stuff. That's what I call stuff. But nobody wants to be a burden. Nobody wants to be that person always talking about their problems and want to do it on their own. But the analogy I always give is, you know, you have a cup and you put that cup under running water, eventually it's going to overflow. A cup can only hold so much, and the only way you can ensure that you're not going to overflow your cup is to dump some of that water out. It's okay. I mean, there's always going to be water coming in. That's just the nature of life. We always have new things going on.
okay.
It's just finding ways to get some of that out of there before it comes overwhelming. And like I think I got your chat up, so I'm looking at what Dr. Stewie said, and just a random thought that'll bring up a sour subject and this instant self-hatred. To me, that sounds like, whatever the triggering thought or whatever was said that brought it on, obviously is causing something, some sort of response in him, causing him to reverberate. And what I mean by that is that negative thought that he's talking about just going over and
Keeps
over and
going
over
back.
and over again. Right. So, it's easy to focus on that because it's huge. That's all we can see. But we have to find a way to condition ourselves to say, okay, this is what's going on. I need to put that to rest. Because like you said, 90% of the time he's cool. He or she is cool. So
Right. I can, and to touch on what Dave said as well, that's one of the things where I don't blame my dad for this, honestly, at all. But it's one of those things where, like he said, Dave in chat, pretty much we were raised that way. A lot. It's one of those things where, like, when I was younger, I felt like I wanted to get a lot out, but instead of being able to talk about it, it was one of those things where, not to say shut up, but that's like short, concise point was like shut up about it or you're not going to talk about it. or stop bringing it up before you actually get a beating or something like that. So it was one of those things where you kind of kept it inside wherever you had to talk about, and that went on throughout high school. Um, so if I could go back, honestly, I would say if I could go back and probably, I think what was it, 2004, 2005, when the last time my parents asked me about, hey, do you feel you need to see a therapist or a psychiatrist? I probably would have said yes at the time. If I can honestly go back and tell myself anything, that way it would set me up to have a better mindset about the rest of the stuff that I was going through at the time, because rather than talking to them about it or bringing it up to anybody else, I put everything in a box, that I never opened up, never touched, never told anybody about. I mean, you see me on a daily day, and pretty much I'm a good natured guy, you know? You don't see me frown, sad, angry, or about anything. So there's stuff out there, though. I mean, I'm pretty sure everybody has a box like that, too.
Sure.
Mine comes from, and I'm working on it, but my whole life I've been rejected those that we expect to love us. It's like I expect other people to hate me because I grew up thinking I was a hated child, because siblings were adored and I was just never a concern. But that's all I've got. That's part of me that I'm working on. I mean, that's good that you're working on that. That definitely is. I mean, I feel like, hey, Sonny, how's it going? Um, that's good, honestly, that you're working on it, because I know most people, I won't say most people, but I say probably 50-50 will tend to kind of wallow in it. Um, and like you said, probably reverberate on it and just it replays over and over again. And you kind of
You
paralyze
know,
yourself mentally. You paralyze yourself mentally because then you just don't do anything because you're afraid
so
to mess with it.
yeah, so that example, I don't mean to use example, that, that person's experience they shared with the stressful family relationships, the difficult thing is exactly what they said. I'm working on it. But, you know, that specific example where you have an experience where, whether it's family or whoever it is, the people that they're expecting to have that loving relationship, you know, to not get that, to have that mistrust develop on an intimate level is very difficult because those are the people that you're looking to model that behavior for you. So now what you have to do is be able to figure out, how do I develop an ability to have loving, warm, affectionate relationships when I was never shown that by the people that I needed to show me that. So it can be difficult, overwhelming, and sometimes maybe feels hopeless because you know what it is you need to do, but you were never given a model how to do it. So it's like, Mike, I need you to go out there and build me a 17-story building that's, perfectly standards of today's safety regulations and technology. You never took an engineering course.
True.
You were never even given the definition of what an engineer is.
Right.
So for most people, the most common thing is to get frustrated, to get angry, to get resentful. You know, how can you expect me to do all this when you never gave me the decency to show me how to do it?
Hmm.
And then, the people around us get upset with us because we don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
Why are you doing this? Why do you have to act like, so yeah, it's difficult, but it's about, even in the face of all that, even with all that unfairness that you may have went through, finding a safe and constructive and effective way to improve that area. And that's the part that I think a lot of people give up on because
Hmm.
it's hard. It's hard.
I mean, I can even touch on that just with perfect example of that. To be honest, to be if you guys weren't really real, is like me and my mother's relationship growing up. Um, Small backstory, really short, brief, but like her immediate family, father in and out of jail, drugs and everything, and so she never got taught how to show love and affection as a parent. So a lot of times when I'm younger, I struggle to see what was actually going on. And I struggled to realize that. And as I got older, it made a lot more sense to me that the whole reason we bump heads is because she didn't have somebody to teach her how to love their children. She was never shown that same affection when she was growing up. So naturally, it would be hard for her to do that on a regular. And once I figured that out, um, it was a lot easier for me to talk to her about things and kind of figure out what the good topics were, what could bring her out of her shell. And now we honestly have a really good relationship. It was rocky before, and I mean, we butt heads all the time. Um, there was times where I hated her. I'll be honest. There was times where I hated her. I wanted to move out. I wanted to get out the house. And I think over time, as I started to take myself back from the situation, remove myself from the situation, and kind of think what she was going through, then that allowed me to be like, oh, you know what? This is why I'm getting it wrong. This is why we're butting heads all the time. And I think unless you actually have a situation to pull you back, or somebody else uh, who's unbiased to actually be like, hey, well, maybe you should look at it from their side or their side of view. It's kind of hard to do that. It's like an ongoing cycle that just never ends. So that's rough. That's why it's always good, like I said, to ask for help. I mean, it's better than trying to, like you said, trying to build something on your own with no experience as to what you want to do. So I do have a child, and I learned from mistakes of my generation. I'm doing. Oh, Dex, Stewie, I didn't even know that. Find something new, man. Hey, what's going on, X? How you doing? Glad you guys are tuning in, man. Hey, we're serious discussion here. So basically, me and Scotty, we got together, we put our heads together, and we talk about a lot of these issues like casually throughout the day. Like we may joke about them or have like a serious debate, but it was one of those things where we basically sat down and we said, hey, why don't we talk about all these issues on stream? Like, what better time than now where everybody's stuck in the house? They're tuning into live streams. They're going stir crazy mentally because they can't get out the house. It was a
You know,
better
I
time
would
than now.
argue, yeah, and I would argue that, like you just said, there is no better time than now because, what we're seeing in the field is that the quarantine, the lack of being able to get out and about, the disruption in the daily routine, all that stuff is really driving behaviors and negative behaviors to really manifest a lot more than they would normally. I mean, typically, I expect around the holidays and when the days get shorter to experience a lot more behavioral issues with my clients because it's not much sunlight, it's cold, you're not outside as much, especially when the holidays come around because it's about family and
Mm,
love and all that stuff. And a lot of them have trying relationships with their family or their loved ones. And now, being around everyone 24/7, mom and dad don't have the 8 hours or 10 hours at work and
right.
on the commute to be away from each other.
Yeah.
The kids don't have hours at school to be with their friends. And so you see a lot more conflict, a lot more
Mm,
um, issues going on. So people really have a need, all of us, you and I included, to really have it, reinforced that being able to get this stuff off your chest, it's okay, it's normal.
right.
We all need to do it. Even me, as a practicing clinician, I have to have sessions with an unbiased person just to make sure that I'm good, you
Mm.
know?
I think that nails it perfectly. Everybody, like we say this all the time. Everybody has issues. So I told him this even before the stream. It's just like when people come to me and then they ask me how do I get through it. Um, because I may look okay on the outside, but there's gears are always constantly turning in my head. I'll be honest. Like sleepless nights. Um, I'm pretty much an insomniac by nature, but despite what everybody sees, like I'm always going through something. There's days aren't going to be easy 24/7. It's not going to happen. And I mean, I may look like I may look like that to like the untrained eye or somebody who doesn't know me or to pretty much everybody. But days are very, very hard for me. Very hard. Like it's hard for me to get up in the morning. Um, there's several issues that stretch on from that, from the medicine that I'm taking, from my own mental health and the thoughts that keep me up at night. Um, a lot of things I could go through that. So I think it's very important that, like he said, you just have that outlet. You have the outlet of somebody who has that unbiased opinion. Um, and they don't necessarily even have to give you advice. It's just being able to let out all of your issues, everything that is bothering you, and just to have somebody listen to that. You know, not bottle them up inside. That's the major thing. Um, unfortunately, myself, I can like honestly say I don't do this. So like half the stuff that I even have going in my head right now to say, Scotty's never heard, which is the crazy thing about it. Like I'm probably sure like maybe I could delve into like my mom's relationship and everything like that a lot more. And it would be one of those things where he would just be like, "Dag, I didn't know all of this was going on, man. Like this is crazy." So it's just like I would say, I'm going to. I think so. From now on, here on out, what we'll do as we continue these discussions and like these streams, um, I kind of want to try to put a bit of us out there to you guys. I personally, I'm gonna do it. I don't know if he wants to. That's on him. Entirely up to him. But personally, I'm just gonna take like my life experiences and just kind of put them out there, and you guys can take them for what they are. Because honestly, these are stories that I would say probably 80, 90% of you have never heard. And I mean, I've missing the eye and going through cancer and a whole bunch of other crap and getting arrested. I got a whole bunch of stories to go into. So I think that's where we want to go with this one. Like I told you guys, this is unfiltered, transparent. Like you guys got questions, I got answers. They might not
Well,
be
let
the
me
right
put some men
answers.
in mind real quick.
Mm. This is home, and I can be more proud of you both. When sometimes people may feel that we don't have a safe space to really open up about their issues. Yeah, that's the major thing. I think it's easy for somebody who looks like they have it all together, um, to go out there and give advice, but I don't think people will readily accept it for the simple fact they're like, all right, this person doesn't know what I'm going through. They don't look like they've lost any sleep at all. They look like they're well put together. They got a nice suit on, tie or dress or whatever. But I'm just saying, hey, I look like I've been through some shit. I'm just saying.
You know, Mike,
And
that's probably one of the most common, if not the most common, uh, reactions you get out of people in a therapeutic environment, especially when it's a service that this person is,
oh,
at the end of the day, they or their insurance is paying for. You
mm,
know, you don't care, you're getting paid for this, or this is your job, or,
yeah.
you know, you wouldn't do this for free. And I'm honest with you, right? I would damn sure wouldn't do this for free. You got that right. But you know, at the end of the day, you know, if you broke your leg and went to the emergency room, do you want that
Right,
doctor to sit there and be your friend and tell you it's gonna be okay and sit there with you while it hurts, or do you just want him to fix your damn leg and get you down on a path to recover, you know, sooner?
right,
And I think that's the difference that people who are resistant to, you know, opening up is they want to know that people care about their problems because they're important. And yes, on a level we should, but at the same time, it's not that I'm going to go home and cry about your problems. I'm
yeah,
not, you know, because it's your life. And whenever whoever you decide to talk to, you know, what you're asking for is just their time for them to step into your bubble. You know,
mm,
I'm not asking for you to step into mine, right? This is your world, your issues. You're allowing me that snapshot of what's going on, and all I can offer is suggestions. At the end of the day, it's your life. You're gonna do what you're gonna do, or you're not.
yeah,
You know.
100%. All right, mom. By the way, how are you going? You're more than welcome to tweet the stream out to the family or Facebook or wherever. Like I said, The more the merrier. The more we can get people talking, the better. Get people to like relieve some stress over these trying times. Like I know everybody's going stir crazy in the house. I mean, put it this way, like COVID has us on lockdown, and it's probably what actually forced us to put together this stream finally, because we've been talking about it for the longest while.
You're right.
Um,
If you cough on this stream, I'm shutting it down.
I got a mask. Where's my mask at? Hold up. It's Yeah, I got a mask right here, so I'm just saying I'm prepared. I don't know about you. I don't know where y'all mask at downstairs. But yeah, that was the major thing. Just getting this out there, and I mean, if we can change even a couple people's lives from it, that's a win in my book, man. That's literally a win. 'Cause I'd rather take like the knowledge that I have in my head and present it to somebody else rather than just keep it for myself. I mean, I've always been an unselfish person and giving, like overly giving. So for me, it's nothing. It's not a big deal. It's not gonna bother me at night. I'm not gonna be like, hey, they really asked me that question on stream. Now I gotta answer it. I'm gonna lose sleep over it. No, you guys are perfectly fine. More than welcome to ask anything. I mean, absolutely anything. Because I can't tell you how many people I've heard. Well, I didn't want to offend you. I didn't know if it was okay to ask you. Nah, just nothing's off limits. You got mad for being here, right here being on ahead and not cooperating with me today. So before the stream, I was like looking at my beard and I'm like, man, I gotta take a hot comb to this, man. It's looking scruffy. Like I can't go on a stream like that. But yeah, I would say like, and especially it doesn't even have to be about me. It could be towards Scotty. A question for him. He's a professional in this one, so probably better. Or
After
if you
hours,
got
though,
something you
so
want
it
to
might
share.
not be as professional.
But if something like personally you want to share about yourself and like you're just like, I need a second opinion on this. Yep. So thank you, mother. That's my mother in the chat, by the way. I didn't know she had a Twitch. I had no clue actually. Did dad make that for you? 'Cause I know he might even be lurking in chat. I gotta double check.
Your mom is more than capable of making a Twitch.
But yeah. Like mom, even if you got any questions for me, I know you got questions. I literally know you got some questions. And I mean I'm not chat, no, don't take this the wrong way. It's not it's like no, she doesn't. So the thing is, um, for my mother, I would say personally I view it as a lot of times she thinks that I'm stressed about stuff, but she won't ask me about it. Or she thinks that I'm going through something and I'm not telling her. So that's why I'm taking this opportunity right now, mom. So you can ask me whatever you want. I'll be transparent. It's fine. It's like open book transparency. Mm. I mean, I would say probably the best mental state that I've been in a while. Like I still have stuff that keeps me up at night. Um, Matter of fact, all right, spitball here. We're gonna share one of them. The biggest thing for me is, and this is gonna be a hard hitting fact, 3 a.m. thoughts in the morning, but failed relationships. Like what I mean by that is, I mean, um, garnering the attention of a girl and just not having it work out the way I feel it should work out, you know? Um, that I lose a lot of sleep over that, like 24/7, where um not so much recently, but probably I would say in the past, I've second guessed myself a lot. I've second guessed myself. I went through several iterations of changing myself. Um, and I've justified it like by saying, "Oh, I'm not changing for them. It's just me becoming a better version of myself." But in all reality, they were the catalyst to it. So essentially, I'm changing for the wrong reason. And I won't say, how should I put it? I wouldn't say changing for the wrong reason, but I'm saying it's gonna be a failed change because I'm doing it for the wrong reason. Um, Instead of me realizing that there's nothing wrong with me, um, I take it as, you know what, I'm gonna become a better version of myself, and just because I might still get that girl, and you can't do stuff like that. You can't shape your life around somebody else. The stipulation that if you change yourself, then they're gonna come back to you, or it's gonna work out the way you want. And I've done that. I'll be honest. I've done that several times. I've done that several times. My mom can vouch. We've got into it because of it. Um, and it's not necessarily healthy. It's not at all. You'll lose sleep over it. Um, you'll you'll drag yourself down to like a dark, deep place that you don't want to be in because it will have you doubting even just getting up in the morning time and looking yourself in the mirror and you're like, man, like at one point I couldn't stand the sight of myself. That was and that's as real as it gets. I would get up in the morning time, I would be like, even though I know I'm getting surgery, um, things would never be the same. Never. Um, at all. And for a while, I would say even up until like early this year, things were going like that. I mean, I would walk downstairs, I would say what's up to Scotty or Kelly, and I could have probably just finished just having like a mental breakdown. But I walk down steps, smile, good morning, and crack a joke, like nothing's wrong. And it's one of those things that I think this is the other reason I wanted to get this started too, is because I personally have a lot of stuff that I got to get out, and it forces if you put yourself out in front of people and you say, "Hey, I'm gonna be transparent with you guys. I'm gonna be brutally honest." It forces you to stick to that. It's like a mental check that goes on in your head, and you're like, "Hey, I told these guys I'm gonna be transparent. I'm not gonna lie to them." So it forces you to be real with everybody and actually follow through with what you say. It's just like you posting a progress pic when you're going to the gym and you're saying, "Hey guys, I'm gonna stick this out for the rest of the year. I'm gonna keep posting pics every week of progress." But you don't continue that. People are gonna start calling you out on it. People are gonna start to realize that you're faking it, or you're not being real, or you're not being honest with them. And I think that's the
That's
major thing. I think that's the major thing. Um, about this. That's why I tell you guys I plan on keeping this going so that you guys can see not only my progression, but you guys can gain something for this and probably change some things in your life for the better. It's like you're not in it by yourself. It's one of those things where pretty much it makes it easier for you to bring your own like demons to light. Just because you realize that you're not struggling alone, something maybe completely similar to what you're going through that I say, or Scotty says, or anybody else that comes up here. And we want to create that opportunity for people to just voice it out. Get their mindset out, get what their thoughts are. Um, and it doesn't. I don't hold judgment on anybody. Like that. I'm not one to judge. I can't. For your decisions that you make in your own life, I can't tell you what to do. I can't judge you for it. I can have my own personal opinion, but it's not something I'm gonna be like, hey, I think you're a terrible person. Everybody has their reasons for doing stuff. Um, and who am I to judge you? Because I've made my own mistake. I made plenty of mistakes. Like my mom's in chat. You can probably ask her right now, and I mean, she'll tell you a long laundry list of stuff that I did that probably irked her when I was younger. And I know some of them coming to mind right now. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So I mean, like I said, you guys more than welcome to like chime in and get you guys engaged, man. Get you guys discussing. Like we're gonna have like a whole politic type thing. Not politicians. We're not doing politics. Politic. The verb. Mm. So yeah. Yeah, X, how you holding up, man? How's everything going? Ah, thanks, man. Sonny. Appreciate the comment, man. We can get Kelly in here too. Matter of fact, Kels, you decent?
That is
Huh?
Sanyo is Kelly.
Oh, well now we know. Well now we know. Okay. Wait. How do you feel your medical situation has impacted the normal struggles of young single men, i.e., relationships? Uh, I would say so. Yeah, that's a rough one for me, to be honest, because if I can say anything, it didn't affect me too much initially after I got done with my surgery. Like losing the eye wasn't a big thing to me, but it becomes a certain point where it sinks in that things are never going to be the same. So you slowly start to get up in the morning, you look in the mirror, and you realize that hey, that eye is never coming back. Like this side of my face, um, is never going to be the same, and you struggle with coping with that. Um, I would say from the standpoint that you feel people don't view you as normal. People may not have a problem with it. You don't know, but you feel like people will never view you as normal, or like you are inadequate compared to somebody who actually has their eye or their face on the side of their face actually in the right spot. So that is something I'll be honest I struggle with a lot. Um, it doesn't. I would say I struggle with a lot, but it's not enough to get me down. So for instance, I'll say like normal routine is get up in the morning, go into the shower, but I walk past the mirror, I may have that thought in my head. But something I've taught myself to do, I guess you guys can try. I don't know if it'll help you or not. But while I'm in the shower, it's one of those things where I'll take my finger and write on like the fogged up glass, like be great, um, be smart, be confident, just stuff to, um, I would say, stop the negative thoughts. That's the major. That's the major thing. If you keep letting these negative thoughts just go over and over and over, you need to take something and you need to stop the cycle. You need to place your mind and focus it on something else. So it's not easy to do that every day by any means. Like I've had a lot of mental breakdowns because of it. For the simple fact that it's been a while since I've been in a relationship. To be honest with you guys, it's been like 10 years since I've actually dated somebody. And partially because I feel like I come off as that nice guy. Um, and then the other aspect is I'm picky myself. So
No.
it's true. Don't let what he says. But no, I'm picking myself. I may say like this, that, and the other girl looks fine, but I truly do look at people and ask myself. No, I do ask myself if I can truly see myself being with them in like a marriage or like an actual relationship. Because at this point in my life, I'm not looking for like one night stands, flings, or anything. I'm looking for a soulmate. I'm looking for somebody that I can grow and build with.
Yeah. You just say that because mom's in the chat.
I'm,
No, I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm joking. He got good moves.
yeah. All right. So for instance, like ask him how many like girls they'll be like, "Hey, Mike, we're gonna put you on this girl," or like, "Hey, check out this girl on social media." Don't do anything. Fair enough. Just saying. Think about it. I'm like, nah. There'll be like a lot of, I don't know. Like to me, oh come on, everybody gonna co-sign? All right. Okay. All right. Let's see how it is. Thanks, mom. Appreciate it. But no, just like to go back and finish off that point. Um, yeah, it's it's one of those things that like that's a major thing that I struggle with, and people will tell you like, I mean, yeah, you're fine, you're handsome, you're good, but that doesn't stop the thought like from coming in your head. So it's I feel like the biggest solution to that is for you to be comfortable with yourself. It's for you to practice that mental health. You know, to tell yourself you're worth it. You know, you have to. So it hits different when you get to a point where you can tell yourself things are okay. Things are gonna be okay. Things will be okay. You need to constantly keep those thoughts coming in. If you let like you start letting like doubts in, like, oh man, I'm missing an eye. Oh, I need to put on weight. Oh, dude, I need to figure out my career. Um, just so many things in my life are inadequate. You're focusing on the wrong thing. You're focusing on all of the negatives, and not one positive was mentioned in that. So of course you're gonna beget bad luck onto yourself, or not be able to pull yourself out of negative situations. You're constantly thinking about that. Like it's it's just common sense. I mean, I feel like that's a common sense thing. Where if you're only thinking negative, you're only going to be get negative. Negative's only going to come back to you. If you start manifesting positive thoughts and you just practice it, um, it makes you feel better. It makes you feel a lot better. Like you start dressing nice. You know, you feeling yourself. Start listening to that like that feel good music. You got good vibes going on around you. That's I think that's the major thing people need to focus on. Nothing changes. Nothing changes. Exactly. True. 100% true. Like if you don't change, you'll just be stuck there, and nobody likes being stuck there. It's not good at all. By the way, what's going on, man? What's up, Brian? Is T? Where's T at? Tell her to get in here. We're trying to hear what she has to say. I want everybody. It's gonna be like a virtual. What do we call it? I'm trying to think of something that isn't.
A virtual meeting.
No, that's too basic. That's too basic. Uh, huh. I'm thinking so. I'll come back to that. I'll really, literally come back to that. All right. I'm gonna send this message real quick. Should we call it a TED Talk? Can we call it a TED Talk?
Well, we better get a cease and desist if you sell the TED Talk. We're not making no money, but we gonna lose some. We use TED.
Hey, some people will tune in to TED Talks. You don't know? They're like, hey, that's my thing.
You can offer
All
him this red talk.
right. There we go. Get people out there. All right, Kels, I need your thoughts. Wait.
No, you don't.
Shut up.
I'm joking.
All right. Kels, what keeps you up at night? Like, I noticed, like, I never actually really talked to you about this, but what do you struggle with? Like, you yourself.
Hmm. Okay.
I can hear her doing, like, mental math right now. She's just going through.
I'm typing.
Oh, you're typing it. Oh, okay. Girl, we need to get you a laptop so you ain't got to type on your phone.
True. I don't
Plus,
type any quicker on a laptop.
I was gonna say, plus they can hear you because you're in the background, so you typing it out for stream is kind of doubling down. Let me see. But yeah, that was an interesting point that Dave brought up earlier about like it just being instilled in us earlier to like kind of sweep stuff under the rug. And I mean, I can kind of
Sure.
having knowing my dad and having met his dad, I can kind of see like exactly what he's talking about because a lot of issues um when I grew up, I felt like I couldn't bring to my parents. Even if they told me I could bring it to them, I could talk to them about it. it was just one of those things where I felt like the discussion didn't go the way I wanted it to, and I felt like we just weren't on the same wavelength with understanding. So it wasn't that I didn't want to tell him anything. It was just like I felt like I wouldn't get the answers that I needed. Um, and I think that was probably one of the worst times I would say for like me and my parents' relationship. This is probably like I want to say around 2005, like between 2000 and 2005, and then throughout high school. Very very rocky road. Um, there was a lot of things like I made a lot of poor choices. I would go out all the time, party, and I didn't see them as bad choices at all. I think they were just mainly trying to get me to focus on school at the time and take care of what I need to. And for me, I was just focused on. At the time, I was working at the hot noodle, so I was focused on making money. Um, I didn't think there was any value in going to school at the time, so like I would skip school and I would go work at the hot noodle. And I'll be like, "Hey, Lom, can I pick up a shift?" He's like, "I thought you were supposed to be in school."
Yes!
And
What's wrong with you? What's your straight car? Every 5
I
minutes
thought you
you
were
come to
supposed to
the
be in
bottom
school,
of
and
the
I'd be like, "Hey, man,
bleeding.
I'm skipping. I'm just trying to make some money, and let me work an extra shift." So at the time when I was in high school, my whole focus was just making money, partying, having as much fun as possible. And if I could go back, I probably would change that because I didn't finish high school because of it. I had to go back and get my GED. They sent me back a lot. Let's see. So right now, recently with gyms being closed, I've been struggling with mainly staying positive about my body and the way I look. I've been becoming more critical of myself. To help cope with it, I've been less about looking at myself in the mirror and using a scale and more focused on enjoying the food I consume and not being so. I've got to work out every day and just enjoying the workouts I'm able to do. I can honestly say I kind of see that because I noticed like you've been cooking a lot. Like, I mean, it's a good thing. I'm not complaining at all. But cooking and baking a lot. And that's why I always wondered. Because, I mean, obviously, like between the three of us, we never really share like our negative thoughts, our negative personal thoughts. It's always, um, I want to say happy go lucky, but it's always like this good vibe feeling like when we get together. Like we'll just come downstairs, everybody's like, good morning, we'll joke, be happy. But like we never ask each other about like personal lives. And I think it kind of works out because we're three of us are all mentally strong people. And I think we're very intelligent in the fact that we know what demons we're dealing with. Um, for the most part, I would say we know what demons we're dealing with. We know how to solve the problem. We may not always do it that time instantly, but we do realize that friendship and laughter is like a very beneficial thing to keep consistent in the house. So with all of us living together, like we just constantly have that vibe of like laughter and like just cracking jokes here, and it really does help out. There'll be days when I'm feeling out of it, and like I come down the steps, and Kels just like hits like a dance move on me real quick and laughs, and I'm like, all right, cool, she's having a good day, she's having a good morning, so let me pick up my side of the things. The same thing with Scotty. Like, I mean, I'll come down the steps. He'll be like, hey man, you see that Fortnite stream yesterday with so and so that died? And like he'll just crack a joke about it, and I can't help but laugh. So I think laughter solves a lot of issues. If not, it'll take your time off of them for just a little bit. Um, give you like a breath of fresh air, a reset. See, oh, is he even paying attention over there? Nah, he can hear me. He can hear me. He's probably sending the stream out right now. Actually, I should pull your stream up. I mean, I just thought about that.
I'm
Being
just
a
writing notes for like a formal assessment later.
And I'm laughing, but I know he really is writing notes for a formal assessment later. That's the sad part about it. That's how long we've been living together. That I can just actually. A lot of times, I'm not even gonna lie. We finish our sentences, or like we'll just have like that same thought where we'll look at each other and like immediately bust out laughing. Let me pull your stream up. Your chat probably more lit than mine, man. Almost typed in Kiso99. Wait, who messaged me? Oh. Oh, yeah, appreciate it, Dad. I was gonna say, they don't... Yeah. Hey, Mom, can you do me a favor? Tell Dad they don't need a Twitch account to watch, actually. They just need the link. So, there we go. Matter of fact, I'll just put this in there. 1 second. Type to the rest of the family, get everything sorted out. I'm gonna get them in here. You can... Twitch account to watch. Uh... Hey, there we go. I got a helicopter in the background.
Who, me?
Yeah. I heard something whirring in the background. I don't know what it is though.
Your CPU?
Alright, thanks. We can never log off the stream. She will go on for 12 days. I gotta figure out, so I'm trying to think, maybe schedule wise. Okay. Because that's what I was gonna say. Schedule wise, I'm trying to think what you guys want to do. Because I know you don't want to come home and try to diagnose everybody on the internet after you just diagnose. Like, technically,
Am
you're
I
not
getting
coming
paid?
home. Hey, if you do a good job, you might get paid. Just saying. I'd be like, oh man, thanks for the dono. That really saved my life. There we go. This and his uncle. Larry. There we go. Boom. Yeah, I sent us the same uncle that was helping them fix the laptop the other day.
Oh, okay.
Slash. I'm pretty sure like people got questions. They got questions. I got answers. They ain't the answers they want to hear, but you know. Questions. I got answers. Da-da-da-da. But yeah, like I was telling you guys, that's the thing I was struggling with. Like self-doubt, I think is a huge thing for me. So much so because it kind of compounds itself because I'm a perfectionist. So it's like for me it's an all or nothing type thing. Either I'm full on chasing or I'm just not feeling you at all and it's just like I'm out, get out. So I think the biggest thing for me is working on self-image and still being comfortable with myself because I'm still working on that. That was fine before. I can tell you honestly, prior to cancer and everything, that was perfectly fine before because I was wearing suits. I mean, they can tell you I was wearing like suits, scarves. I would show up to work with dress shirts, ties on. Even though that wasn't a uniform requirement, it was just one of those things where like I would just dress up and like pretty much just show out. Where do I think it comes from? I think progression. So for me, lack of progression in like relationships and lack of progression in life. Um, because right now I'm still in a path. Wait, what? Hey, what's up, Donnie? How you doing, man? Um, but I still struggle with like the career path because right now mentally I feel like I'm behind. I'm years behind everybody else, and I know it's not a race, but that's one of those things I still have to look at. At a certain point, I have to pull the trigger on a career, and I have to start setting up um, my life if I want to succeed. So that's something that I still struggle with today, every day. Um, Even my uncle, to take that example, is everybody tells me, man, you should go with computers. I would love to right now, trust me. I would definitely love to go with like IT work, computers. Um, But cancer and having all these healthy issues, or health issues, should I say, it's kind of put that on hold. I'm like cancer free now, but still waiting for the last surgery. Um, Plus dealing with like the side effects that I get from it. Uh, it's just really hard to like get into your career. There's a lot of days. So recently, I've had like nerve pain. I get nerve pain on this side of my face from like about here down, and they gave me pain medication for it. But the drawback of the pain medication is that it makes you groggy, like really groggy. So like throughout the day, unless you drink coffee or G Fuel, low key plug right there, sponsor me G Fuel. Um, if you drink that, then you're just not gonna have any energy. So I struggle. I think that's the most important thing is I struggle with having energy, which sucks for me because you take you take a person that has been active for years, that loves to get out the house, that loves to play sports. Like I played soccer, basketball on like a consistent basis, just pretty much any sport that I could get my hands on. Went out to play pool all the time and just socialize. You take that and then you completely flip his life upside down, like 180, to where he's stuck in a hospital bed. He's stuck inside the house for like 3 years straight because uh, like every time he wins his battle with cancer, it comes back, and over a 3 year period of time, that starts to wear on you mentally. Um, to the point where you feel, am I ever going to be able to have my life back? Am I ever going to um, be able to have fun again? Mainly because my whole thing is I want to travel. I want to see the world. I want to experience a whole bunch of different things, and all of that has been put on hold uh, indefinitely, even because even for now, I can't go outside for the simple fact that my immune system is weak. So, say for instance, Scotty and Kelly go to the grocery store, they're able to do that. For me personally, I can't do that. I can't go to the grocery store. I can't go out because I have immune system issues. Like we're just putting it out there. It's just a whole list of stuff that goes on, a laundry list of stuff that I wish I didn't have to deal with. But you take it in stride. So I mean, I'm pretty much working through it the best that I can. There's nothing I can really change about it except do the things that the doctors tell me to do. But that's where the self doubt comes from. It's just lack of progression in life. Uh, Pretty much it. You have arrived. The party can start. What's going on, Victor? I'm not sure how much of a party it's going to be, but I can assure you we're going to have some fun. We have some fun touching on some subjects here. We airing out dirty laundry. Well, my dirty laundry. Not yours, Scotty.
Just like
I
saying,
can, Cause yeah, I have like a whole bunch of dirty laundry. Not even dirty laundry. I would say just like I'm thinking of which story to tell right now. Pretty much self doubt. Oh, all right, bingo. So, prime example is there was this girl that I was talking to who was from California. I'd known for years. Not gonna say any names here, but I went to visit her in New York, and for me, I was hype about this. I'm like, yo, I'm really into this girl. She's very beautiful. She's cool. Um, and when I got up there, things turned out great. They were good, but then this is when like the whole earthquake in California thing happened, and prior to this, I hadn't seen her for like 2 years or something. This was like the first time we were meeting. Um, so we were gonna catch back up, and I'm thinking like this is gonna be amazing. We're going to New York. We're gonna be in the city. Um, it was fine. It was cool. We walked around. We saw movies. Got dinner together. But then it got cut short because there was a like earthquake in California. So in my head, I know that like everything got cut short because of the earthquake. But there's still that thing there that like, dang man, is anything gonna work out, man? Like now she's flying back to Cali and I missed my opportunity. Now I gotta wait again, and I waited for so long for the opportunity to hang out with her, and now it's never gonna come. And that's where like the self doubt starts coming in and starts creeping in, and you're like, oh man, dude, it's I need stuff to really work out. Um, and that I think at that point that really broke me because afterwards we had a fallout, and for me I was just like, dang man, really another one? And we still loosely keep in touch. Like I'll talk to her maybe once every 3 months, or I'll hear from her once every 3 months. Like she checks in, but it's nothing like before. And it was just one of those things where I keep playing it back in my head. How many times has that happened um, over the course of 10 years, which has happened a lot. So I was like, dang man, I'm losing out. I'm losing out. So that's one of those things where that's where the self doubt. That was an example of it. Um, and it took me a while to get over that. I was like, dang man, I went back and I reassessed everything that I did. I lost many a nights thinking about what I could have done differently. Um, Maybe I could have flown out there, something like that. But no, you can't. I learned if anything, you can't change those. Like you can't uh,
But what do you
change
think?
things.
What do you think is the cause for situations like that for people to internalize it as something they could or could not have done differently?
Uh,
Versus just it's just a situation and that's how it played out.
exactly. But I think that's the mentality where because it doesn't work out the way you want it, you start jumping to conclusions and you start doing mental math, trying to figure out what you could have done differently to actually make the situation work out. So instead of focusing on that's how things happen, you focus on why it happened or what I could have done differently to change it from happening, which to be honest, like 9 times out of 10, you can't change it. I'm and the only reason I say 9 times out of 10 is you can't change it because situations are ongoing. So there's still opportunity possibly in the future for you guys to link up or something like that. But 9 times out of 10 you can't change it. It's just not going to happen. Um, and that's a good point. I mean, you say they're losing out, and I would say positive Michael thinking. This is like I'm going to play like Angel Demon here. Angel Michael is thinking, yeah, you know what? They're losing out. I mean, it's going to be their loss. Demon Michael is thinking in the back of his head, it's like, but is it really their loss though? And I'm like, am I not losing out because that was the person that I chose? So it's one of those things where how would I say, you really have to rein in like your negative thoughts. Um, I would say focus on something else. Like if you start thinking in like that negative mentality, um, something I do personally myself. So since I struggle with self image, it's one of those things where like I take extra care to go and put on a button up, a tie, um, dress shirts, shoes, hats. Um, I even bought. I'm not wearing them, but like I have this obsession with like Pumas, Nikes now, super dry. But it's one of those things where like Deion Sanders. I'm trying to think of the quote. Uh, Something about if you look good, you feel good. You feel good. You play good. If you play good, they pay good. And that's what you have to do. It's like you have to feed off that. You have to feed the beast there. So you gotta take care of yourself most importantly, and then things will start falling into place. I can't say they'll fall into place immediately. So I don't want you guys being like, oh, so if I go out and buy Kenneth Cole or Super Dry, that girl, I'm gonna get hurt. No, that's not what I'm saying. You may get a girl, but it may not be the one you want, but it'll probably be the one that you need. So I need to take my own advice, really. I'm really good at giving advice to other people, but just terrible with taking my own advice. Struggle with that. My dad's been telling me that for years. My mom, too. I never listen, though.
Why do you think that is?
Mm, I don't know. I am stubborn. I will be honest with you. I'm stubborn as hell. Um, like I said, probably I would go back and touch on the issue of I feel like I feel the need to handle stuff myself. I mean, I do listen to them now with most of the stuff, like general advice that they give for the most part. But on matters like that, I just have it stuck in my head that it's something that I need to handle personally as a man. Um, and like I said, that's just something that I can't say works for everybody else. I don't I don't even think it works for me, to be honest. It's just one of my character traits that I'm struggling to control, struggling to change. Something that I need to work on. Mm,
How do you change a negative trait?
doing the opposite of it, or don't doing it at all, or not doing it at all.
Easy to say.
Exactly, in theory, but like practice is like a whole nother ball game. So it's I would say life for me now that I've recently started reading books and everything, gotten back into it. Um, it's definitely enlightened me to a lot of things, and it's taught me that life is going to be constantly changing. You're constantly going to be changing. Your mentality is constantly going to be changing. Your only job in life, um, I would say, is to be the best version of yourself. So you constantly need to learn um, and adapt these negative traits that you form. You know, it's your job to be the best person that you can be. So you need to take all the negative, like the negative habits that you need to get. You need to figure out what those are first. Figure out a way to change them, and then you need to put that into action. You can't just say I'm gonna change stuff and then not do it. I know
So
personally.
how,
I just said no. Go
I
ahead.
was gonna say, how do you apply that to you?
Exactly. Right. And that's where I struggle at because I would say, let me look at the term paralysis. What am I thinking of? Where you fail to take action because you're paralyzed, essentially because you're overthinking. I'm trying to think of the term for it. I can't think of it. Uh, Paralysis by analysis. So, like for me, since I overanalyze things, I overthink, and I'm a perfectionist. Um, I'll go through several thoughts in my head, several scenarios of how to change a situation and better myself. But
Mm-hmm.
because I'm constantly thinking on it, I never actually take the action of doing it. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
one of those things where, um, prime example, I'll go to bed and you'll start thinking about, hey, what can I do to better myself tomorrow? What am I gonna do tomorrow? Oh, that's right. I can stream. I can do this. I can change that. Let me make a note of it. You make a note of it in your phone. Get up the next day, and I sit down at the computer, and I'm like, all right, I need to better my stream, change some stuff around. It gets to the point where because I'm changing everything around, I don't stop myself from doing that. So I never actually get to the point of streaming. I'm just constantly changing stuff. And then by that point, I just miss the opportunity because I'm changing everything. So for me, I think the big thing is I need to stop myself from overthinking and overanalyzing a lot of the situations I find myself in. Um, I can say that up here, but me actually doing it is just like a whole nother ball game. Um, I'm not sure. I think the perfectionist thing just might be from like my dad, hereditary. This type of thing that like um, whenever I think of my dad, I think of like dots his I's, crosses his T's. He handles everything that he needs to handle. And for me, growing up, I idolized that. I idolized that a lot. Like people asked me who my heroes were. I didn't have any except for my dad. That was it. Everybody else, I just thought, yeah, I respect them. But for me, he was it. He was like James Bond. Um, he was that guy.
You think you
So
might have concern that you might not meet that standard?
yeah, I can safely say that for sure. Yeah, I do agree. Even now, because he has definitely provided a lot for the family. And I feel like in my current situation, what have I provided? What have I done? And he tells me all the time, he's like, I mean, I'm proud of you, of everything you've done. It's not like I don't get the support from him. It's not like he doesn't reassure me that I'm doing a good job. But for me, um, personally, I can have somebody tell me that, and I'll find a way to completely circumvent that and be like, but is that really like 100% the case? Am I really doing everything in my power as far as to be a better son, a better man, a better adult, better friend?
See, that
Um,
sounds more like a concern that you have, not necessarily a concern that they might have.
exactly. So it's so my parents. I mean, they've been phenomenal with support, especially with everything I've gone through. But for me, it's just translating that into um, motivation. I think motivation for me, that really, I think that's what I struggle with a lot, is like this the motivation to like follow through with stuff. Because once I start thinking negatively, then I kind of wane back. Like say I'll bring it down from 100%, like 100% effort to 80% or to 70%. Um,
But you also rob yourself of opportunities for things to work out the way you want. You said earlier, like when you were in high school, sometimes you would avoid conversations with your mom or dad because you just assumed that the conversation might go away that you didn't want it to go, or you might not see eye to eye.
right,
But when we do that, you take it away an opportunity from your mom or your dad to prove you wrong and show you that they might be on the same page with you. You
right,
know what I mean? Same thing with, you know, getting sidetracked and all that stuff. You get caught up in the sauce, then you never really get an opportunity to taste what the whole meal is.
yeah, 100% agree. Um, and that's what I've been trying to tell myself for the longest while. I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect. Um, and being more comfortable with, I think now I would say self-image. Um, up until January, I probably say I would struggle with like self-image. But as this year's progressed, since we've been inside, it's forced me to kind of explore those thoughts more in my head and kind of find solutions for them. Because before I had an out. Before, if I had those thoughts, I could go on a drive, I could go hang out, I can go drink, go do whatever, and then sweep them under the rug, and I don't have to think about them. Whereas now, as I'm stuck in the house, it gets to a point where, like you said, it overflows. So for me, overflowing is just like I'm forced to face those thoughts and actually deal with them. And I think out of it, I would say I've become slowly better with like my self image and like getting okay with what I see in the mirror when I get up in the morning. Um, Prime example, just before the stream, I had two, basically, essentially, I had two outfits picked out before the stream. I was gonna wear a hoodie or something like that. I got plenty of them. I love them to death. But I said, you know what? I'm not gonna do that. The old me would put on like a dress shirt or something a lot more presentable. And it's time that I start doing that again. So I recently got together all my dress shirts, hung them up in the closet, and it's gonna be hunting season. So I'm gonna call it now. It's gonna be might get back on the grind season and get back to what made you feel good, uh, like ties, suits, dress shoes, like the whole nine. I mean, hoodies, of course, I'm still gonna wear them. I'm still like the shoes and everything. But I was feeling my best um, when I was taking care of myself. I was taking care of my self image, and I realized I stopped doing that when I started to slip and I started to wear like sweatpants and hoodies. And if I was going out, I would just throw on like some jeans and like a t-shirt, a graphic tee, and call it a day. Whereas like the old Michael would actually go out and I would get like a lot of compliments on it. And I noticed that prior prior to me having the self doubt and like the lack of confidence and like the wardrobe change, I would get compliments on my appearance a lot more so than I would when I was going through the stage of not taking care of myself.
What do you think the reason for the self confidence decline is right now,
Mm, I
as
would
far
say
as self image goes?
probably if I had to peg something, I would say lack of interaction. So I realized that at a certain point, COVID is gonna subside. Um, I'll be able to get out the house, but I think the lack of interaction, there's only so much information you can convey online to somebody you're interested in or intrigued in or attracted to. So for me, it's very frustrating when um, compliment a girl for say, and then the conversation doesn't go the way you think it should go. Um, and you have time to think about that because obviously, like I said, lack of interaction is not something immediately where you go out to the bar and you talk to the girl, it doesn't work out, and then you go back out the next day and try again. This is something where like it's really hard to convey feeling through, I would say, feeling through the internet and more specifically text. So it's one of those things where I've tried to avoid recently too, like getting too involved with people. I'll say mentally, I've been like scarred probably like three, four, 5 times last year, alone by like 5 different girls, and then that just turned me off to the whole thing for a while. Um, but I kind of see it as once COVID subsides, I don't even have to worry about. I'm not worried about the surgery. The surgery. Everybody asks me, "What are you going to do after that?" Frankly, I'm at the point where I could care less about the surgery because I've been with like a disfigured face for so long that I've gotten used to it that I forget about it. I forget about it to the point where I'm like, hey, if somebody's gonna be attracted to me, they're gonna be attracted to me, for what I bring to the table, not for how I look. That's of course I'm gonna get back in shape, and I like being in shape is a big thing, very big thing that I need to practice. But for the most part, you want somebody to be attracted to you for how you make them feel, um, the value that they bring to your life, and that's what I'm trying to translate over. Hey man, I'm attracted to you too. I mean, you're the bro, always attracted to you.
Can you let
But
me know when you're talking to the chat, please?
uh,
I was like, I don't recall saying that I'm attracted to Mike, but all right.
hey, so before. So hey, I'll tell you all this inside secret. I go up, so he goes upstairs to change, right? I go to my room to change. Like we both gonna get changed for the stream. He
Separate
walks down.
room.
He walks down the steps, comes downstairs. I open my door. I can see halfway down the steps. My guy's wearing the same exact thing I'm wearing, and I'm like, no, we can't do this. We can't.
Hey, clearly though, I was already downstairs, so I had it on first. So
And he goes back upstairs and changes though. Like he literally goes back upstairs and changes. He comes back out. And I'm like, oh, so you're just gonna put on a tighter shirt? Is that what you're doing right now? Muscle bound?
man, they all tight.
So, but that was a major thing for a while. Like I was just going from girl to girl, and either I would find something that put me off about them, and this is what I meant by me being picky earlier. I would find something that I couldn't rock with. Like either they had like a big ego. I remember one girl. She didn't have a sense of humor. She was like very very dense. So you would crack jokes, like simple jokes, and she wouldn't get it.
Ah, dense.
Yeah. And she wouldn't get it, and you're just like, that was a joke. Like that was literally a joke. And she's like, oh, I've never heard that before. And then that was it. So I just like
Yep.
after that, I was just like, I'm done. I'm not talking to this. But going through that, I think the big thing um, that I harped on for the longest while is that my past relationship was like 10 years ago. And then throughout all of this transpiring, dealing with life stuff, I'm trying to forge relationships with people that I'm attracted to and they're just not working out. So going through all the other stuff that I was dealing with in life, I was like, this, at some certain point, I can figure all the rest of this stuff out, but relationships aren't working. So what am I doing wrong? Hmm.
But
So
again, so you take responsibility for what's going wrong.
yeah,
You know,
mhm,
sometimes sometimes it's not yours to take.
it's not in the cards. Yeah, that I can say therapist. Matter of fact, you asked me what happened to therapist. That was the perfect example of, I'll say, um, somebody who I realized that I wasn't at fault for what happened during the situation, what happened during the fallout and everything. Um, Ironically, I say therapist, codename therapist, because this girl was a therapist down in Florida. But
And
she, well, I didn't say any names. I know a whole bunch of people in
I'm
Florida.
just saying, she asked a lot of questions that I would think a therapist would already know the answer to. But
But oh yeah, yeah, it's right about that because like Scotty was
college degree, two N's in universities.
so the thing about it is during this whole time it's good that I had like an unbiased opinion because it's not something where like he's gassing me up or he's being like, hey, you're always right. It was one of those things where I would take a scenario and I would explain it to him and he's like, are you sure she's a therapist? And I'm like, yeah, like she has like a diploma, she just graduated, so and so and so. She works for this place. And he was like,
Very
well,
university give out diplomas.
he was like, well, she's not handling like these situations like properly. And like he would ask her terms and she wouldn't know what they were. So for me, that actually clicked in my head after everything like fell out. I was like, even a therapist or a person who claims they're a therapist can be wrong. Um, People aren't always perfect, and I shouldn't hold her to a higher standard or let her get away with things just because she was a therapist. So at that at that point, I just I said let bygones be bygones. I haven't talked to her since. Like honestly, I didn't get any inkling to hit me up. She texted me like 4 months back, and I think she was trying to bait me to talk to her. Like I mean, acting like she texted the wrong person, but she clearly
Right,
like can see
right.
my name.
It's 2020. You ain't making that mistake
Yeah,
these days.
but you clearly can see my name, and like my response was like, "Hey, you got the wrong number." Like if we playing that card, like that's what I'm gonna say. Like you literally just you got the wrong number. That's it. So I haven't heard from her since. And that's one of those things I feel like people try to see if they still have their claws in you or if you still are going to chase after them. And I'm not. One thing mom taught me, I ain't chasing after nobody. I'm not doing that. Like my parents raised me
Me
better than
neither.
that.
I ain't chasing after no broad. I don't care who she is. I ain't met a girl yet that I'd change for. Mm-mm. Nope. Mm-mm. All these females the same.
Right? I hear you, man. Dogs. Me settling down and getting a relationship? Nah. Ain't that right, Scotty?
That's right. This ain't even my whole night.
She gonna kill both of us in our sleep, I swear to God. I can just see her with a knife just standing there. All these cookies I done baked, all this food I done fixed, and y'all still disrespect me.
You damn right.
But yeah, that's and I think so this is like a good starting point for like as far as us to like continue on the discussions like these streams. I'm not sure what the schedule is gonna look like. We're gonna get together probably after this and figure out a schedule. Like I'm not sure if it's probably not gonna be like an everyday thing for sure. Maybe not even like multiple days of the week, but probably maybe like a once a week thing. And that way we, because I mean, trust me, I got like a whole bunch of stories. So like if y'all got like life issues, I'm pretty sure I've had something relevant to it. Like I'll go through like a short, concise list. I've been shot at. I've been arrested. I have several speeding tickets. Um, Serious face. I did try to commit suicide at one point. Um, and I have my ex to thank for that for keeping me alive. What else? An addiction to speed, bad spending habits. Good money management though. So
You might
bad
want to
spitting game.
clarify when you say addiction to speed.
Oh, all right. So yeah, like addiction to speeding, um,
Yeah.
car driving, speeding, bad habits. Um, let's see. At one point, all right, I would say like on a serious note, I think at one point I did have a problem with alcohol. And it wasn't to the point where I would get drunk or abusive or anything. Um, it was just I leaned on that way too much as a coping mechanism. So for me, this is actually what led to one of my DUIs, by the way. Um, I have two, by the way. Well, you gotta look down like that.
Hey, hey,
Wait,
it,
I told you we're not holding any punches here. We're putting
it could have
everything out.
been one. It could have been one.
It really could have been one. So the story is my mom's in the hospital at the time. Um, and this is what I was saying. I had like a coping mechanism issue with like alcohol at the time. Um, she's in the hospital. She has like heart issues, so she had like a bad valve at the time. I think this was like 2014 maybe. Yeah,
Yeah.
2014, 2015 sounds about right.
Mhm.
Um, and so what ends up happening is she gets sent to Bethesda. Bethesda tells her that she has to have heart surgery. I'm my mother's child. I'm stubborn, and therefore she is stubborn. I love you, mom, but I'm outing you. She's stubborn as I know what. She tells the doctor no, she's not getting surgery. Um, Nobody told me this afterwards, and my dad chased her down the hallway and said, "Hey, schedule the surgery. We're gonna get it done." All I know is that my mom refused like to get heart surgery. So in my head, this is New Year's time as well. In my head, I'm thinking to myself, "My mom's gonna die. My mom's gonna die. My mom's gonna die. I gotta get out the house." It's New Year's. All right, screw it. I'm going to the bar. I'm getting hammered. I'm getting wasted. Drunk Mike is very coherent. I should put it that way. My steering wheel comes off my car, so I can take the steering wheel off. I take the steering wheel inside to the bar that I get to. I tell the bouncer specifically, do not let me take the steering wheel. Whatever you do, don't let me take the steering wheel. He puts it um, in the back behind the bar. Yeah, he puts it in the back behind the bar, and I think we started playing with it. Like one of my coworkers started playing with it later on in the night, and he took it from her and then put it back behind his seat. Now, drunk Mike at this point, it's before like 12 o'clock. So I had plenty of time to get home before like the cops start coming out and everything. Do you think I did that? No. I got hammered before. I think the last thing I remember is you remember Ronaldo? I think I remember taking a shot with Ronaldo, and that was it. And apparently, I went behind his chair, grabbed his steering wheel, got my keys from the back room, um, and went out to my car and drove. And my house is so literally my house is less than a mile from where I worked. So I made it. I had to make two left turns. Count them, two. Literally two left turns to get to my house. Well, technically three to get to the neighborhood, but whatever. Um, First left turn out 235, drive down a mile, turn left. And as I'm passing, Lord forgive me. As I'm passing, my dumbass,
You made it.
I'm like, nah, I don't want to go home. I need to clear my head and go for a drive. So I drive past my actual neighborhood. I made it to my neighborhood and I drove past it. I drove down the street. Mind you, and this is the other thing. I have speeding issues. So not only am I driving drunk, but I am speeding. That's not a good look. Not a good look at all. I bust a U-turn in front. I get probably a good mile and a half down that road, which is called Chancellor's, and I get to the U-turn spot that I normally go to. I make the U-turn perfectly fine, but what do you think Michael does? He has to take off and speed. And what do you think I busted the U-turn in front of? A cop. Cop pulls out, lights me up, and they have this. Everything was recorded. You can go back and watch your own videos. Mind you, if you get pulled over, you can ask them for the CD, and you can watch yourself drunk. Hilarious stuff after the fact. Um, He gets out the car, asks me where I'm coming from, and I give him like the whole spiel and the whole nine. Tell him I'm. That's one thing my parents always taught me. If police officers pull you over, just be honest with them. And he's like, all right, well, I smell alcohol. I want to get you to do the breathalyzer. And I tell him straight up. I'm like, honestly, I've had way more than enough to drink. I'm hammered. At this point, just give me the breathalyzer and just do what you got to do. So he's a real cool guy. Complimented my car, by the way, as he had to move it off of the street in the middle of the street because yet again, drunk Mike didn't pull over uh, off the road. He pulls over on the street, so cars have to drive around. And he's like, "Do you mind if I move your car to the park?" And I'm like, "All right, that's cool." So long story short, my mom says, "Don't ever call me if you get arrested or if you do anything illegal and you need help. Like, I'm not coming to pick you up from the jail." I call my godson's mother, Christy, which is a very angry, short Japanese female who you don't want to piss off and will probably cut you.
Sounds familiar.
And I might as well have called my mom because she's cursing me out. Um, as they're doing the booking, he unhandcuffs me. He's like, "Your ride is here." Um, is that her yelling outside? I'm like, "Yes." He's like, "Are you gonna be all right?" I'm like, "Yeah." "Are you sure?" "Yes." She's like literally cursing me like out. So, mom, I don't know if you heard this part of the story, but she's literally cursing me out like the whole time on the way home. "I can't believe you effing did this. You're so stupid. Why didn't you call me to come pick you up? Like, how could you do this? It's coming up on like New Year's. How are you gonna do this to your mom? Blah blah blah." And I'm like, "Oh my god." But yeah, that's one of those things where I would say at the time I dealt with everything by drinking alcohol. It was one of those things where it's a drug you drink to get numb, um, and then you lose your thought process. So obviously, you stop thinking about what worries you. And thankfully, that happened then. And thankfully, like I was lucky enough to have done that early, to where I got done with probation. I had 3 years probation. 10 days in jail over the weekends. Jail's not fun. Been to jail. Can say that. Just not fun at all. I do not go to jail. Um, and it kind of molded me into the person that I am now, where I still do drink, but a lot more moderately, a lot more responsibly. Um, I can go out and have fun with my friends, but it's not necessarily one of those things where if I do, I'm either taking a cab or I have a DD. I'm not driving it at all. Like it's not gonna happen. Um, and more so now, I'm thankful for this is something I can tell you guys, like Scotty and tell. I'm thankful for you guys because even though we all drink, we don't party like that. We don't go out to the bars. We don't go ham on drinks or anything like that.
Yeah, because
Um,
I'll die.
because like all of our drinks are like here. You can see on the shelf where my finger is. There's like a bottle of Jameson right here and a bottle of sake, and then there's a bottle of Beakers right next to it. So, but those have been sitting up there for like months. Well, with the Jameson, of course, the Jameson is a recent purchase. Don't judge me. Um, Mother, I'm looking at you. But with everything else, though, that's been up there for a while. So I'd say be careful what you guys use for vices. That's the long Michael takeaway from this. If I had like that, like the more you know thing come across my head, this would be it right here. So the more you know. But yeah, be careful about your vices. They can be really, really dangerous. Even if they're like coping mechanisms that you feel that work, doesn't mean they're good. Doesn't mean they're
Nope,
healthy, even.
that's right.
So, and thankfully, there's a happy side to that story. My mom got her heart surgery. She's still kicking, still slapping me upside the back of my head and telling me when I'm doing stupid stuff wrong. Mm-hmm. So, thankfully,
Remember, your dad told us a story about that whole hospital experience. Pretty funny.
I can't picture my dad running down the hallway and be like, hey, she'll get the surgery. Cause he was booking it down the hallway. He's like, man, damn, I can't believe she said that. Rolling. So, but yeah, thankfully between me and my mom, we've had a lot of experience with like health issues. So people ask me how I deal with it. Um, my mom, like since my birth, like part of her health condition was like a birth complication with me.
Dang, Mike.
So since that, she's been dealing with health issues since I've been born, and I'm 32 now.
You've been paining her ass since day one.
Exactly, 100%, 100%. And so we've had like a lot of experience with health issues. I've been dealing with it all my life. That's why I was. But I've been dealing with
Hey,
it all my life.
I'm just repeating things that I've been told by people who were there. So that's all you know.
But so yeah, like a lot of the stuff that I had to do when I was younger, it was my dad was on deployment in the military, and she was dealing with health issues, so that kind of that taught me how to be like independent from like the get go. I was lucky enough. I won't say lucky enough, but I was lucky enough to. What's a better term? Smart enough to take a positive away from the situation and be like, all right, my mom isn't able to do for a lot of stuff that normal parents are. So, I need to learn how to cook, do my own laundry, iron clothes. Dude, I thought I was fresh. I thought I was fresh back in middle school. I swear, man. I was dating a cheerleader, dude. I was hype. Like, she was like cute. She was one of the like the prettiest cheerleaders on the squad. I was like, yeah, dude, I'm in there. I'm good. And yeah, man. I was like, fun fact, do not do this. It works, but it's just you'll ruin clothes. Do not spray cologne on your clothes and then proceed to iron them in. Don't do that. You just ruin them that way. But nobody told me. All right, so nobody told me. So that was a thing that.
Like, I don't feel like that's something you need to be told.
I was young at the time, man. That was one of those things where, and it was crazy because it was a Christian school. So we had the same shirts. Like I had like five of the same shirt. So I would do this to all of the shirts that I ironed and all of the pants that I ironed. And everybody was like, "Wait, you put on cologne?" And here I am, like 13, 14 years old. They're like, yeah, like I did that. I told him I just put on cologne. I never told him I ironed it in there. But yeah, and that's how I learned to cook, man. It was the same way, man. It was a struggle. Like my mom would tell you, like I left so many dishes in the sink because I would never clean stuff after I cooked. So inevitably, what ended up happening is me trying to prevent her from cooking for me actually made her get up and get out of bed and clean up my mess. So either she was gonna cook or she was gonna clean my mess, and she wasn't happy about either. Well, she was happy about cooking. She would prefer to cook and not have me mess up the kitchen. But yeah, dude, I'm telling you, that cologne, that was a big brain play. That was a big brain play at my age. Like when you were fresh and you were, I got the tie on, I was ironing it. It was like, hey, man, look. I had Curve. That's what it was, yeah. I had Curve spray back in the day, man. I think he's a good guy. Appreciate it, man. Oh, yeah, B, I'll hit you up later tomorrow. Go ahead and get some sleep. Discuss computer parts. I got an idea to run across you. But yeah, man, good night.
Computer parts. His damn computer is enough. It's ridiculous. He need to go somewhere and sit down.
I can argue with that, but I can't really argue.
I'm tired of seeing this tower every day of time. I'm just like, well, I'm gonna go home and play with my damn little baby computer now.
Oh man, I can't even argue with that because like I have all these boxes like right here, and I tried to hide them, but I can't. So pretty much, I have everything that I was trying to hide on display in the background. Like the well, it's because the guest room. We can't fit anything in the guest room. Tell T I miss her, and I know she's brain fried. Oh yeah, I talked to T the other day, and she was like, "Yeah, I'm going crazy, like just staying in the house." I think everybody is, to be honest. It wasn't getting to me at first, but like now I'm just like I'm itching to get out to the point. That's why like um it'll be like 5 in the morning, and I'll get up and just go to McDonald's. Man, I'm just like I need to go for a drive.
Hey, you still got a McGriddle.
I threw that McGriddle away, man. I, we ain't eating no stale bread. Like, that thing got syrup in it. It's gonna be hard as a brick. Like a microwave ain't even saving that. Yeah. I got passed. I gotta tell Dad this. I got passed by the fastest Prius in the world when he was going to McDonald's. This dude was speeding. He was booking it, and I thought he was in a rush, late for work or something like that. Nah, my man gets to McDonald's and makes the same turn I'm making, and I'm like, really? And they pulls out just as slow. Like he just drives, leaves McDonald's just as slow. I'm like, all right, okay, fair enough.
That country hunter butter chicken biscuit, man, ain't no joke.
Really? I ain't had it yet. You think on day 5 I got frustrated with Scotty for something so small? Wait, nah, you gotta put it out there. You can't just say, what'd you get frustrated with? Hey, what's up, Jared? What's going on, man?
I think you remember. It wasn't that I wanted to go to Brian and tease. It was something after.
She don't remember.
Obviously, it wasn't that important. So
No, I threw it to the back of my mind because it was done.
That's sus, man. All right. Good night, Mom. Oh, I
night.
should probably come pick up Bentley tomorrow. Thank you. Love you.
Hey,
Bye.
we need a big ZD drop.
Nah, man, we're touching on like mental health today, man. We're gonna be touching
ZD
on mental
drop.
health for a while and discussing just life issues. Like we've been going stir crazy inside the house, Jared. So like let's do it. Let's get into the nitty gritty. I mean, you missed a
And this is
lot
what I
though,
do all day anyway.
right? That's what I was saying. There's nothing new for me to just like talk about stuff like this because half the people that I talk to online talk to me about the same stuff.
Half the time, people I've talked to are legitimately crazy.
Fair enough. So, but yeah, all right. So what's making your mental health deteriorate? Staying inside and not knowing when I can go out and go to stores. Fair enough. I mean, same thing with us. I'm pretty sure a lot of people are going crazy off this. Like literally. Uh, and be a normal human. I mean, this is the new normal now. Me and my or so like my uncle brought up a good point. Things after this are never going to be the same. Like I don't know if everybody realizes that, but like even after COVID gets cured, people aren't going to look at hygiene or like social distancing the same as they were prior to everything kicking off. I think there's still going to be that air of, hey man, you need to ease up. You sneezing too much. Um, huh? But yeah, like you sneezing too much, man. You gotta cover your mouth. I think even more so now, like people are gonna start calling people out on like just bad hygiene. Like you ever been to like a Comic Con convention and you smell it in the air? Like people are gonna start calling those people out. Like they're gonna have a big sign that says you will not get entrance if you smell like body odor or you have bad hygiene. It's just my opinion, but I think it's happening loosely in the form.
Man, that's gonna be a hard push in the con world.
I'm telling you, you ever been in one of those things like rank? It's just like a mass smell of bo. I love Comic Con. Don't get me wrong, and MagFest and all that. But the years I went, boy, I mean, I don't know if showers could Cowards could save it. Let me see. All right, noted. Got some feedback from one of my viewers in a private message. You can see that happening, but I feel like years down the road, they loosen up, being busy with life all over again, probably even more. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Like, I mean, I feel like it's an ever ongoing cycle. So things stricten up or get more strict, and then they loosen up, and then they get back strict. Pretty much how it goes. Uh, but yo, Jared, all right, fill me in. Anything actually really bothering you? Like, how's work going for that? Um, I know you've been well established out there in Cali for a little while, but how things are going with work? Are you still actually going in? Mm. Oh, dude, see,
Sucks, man.
that's why I feel for a lot of since March. Oh my God, dude.
My thing is,
Oh, but they're paying through May 1st. That's just, God, man. See, that's the thing about it, and it's hard to. Hmm, it's hard to actually be like, yo, I understand because I'm not in that position right now. Um, I'm able to pay bills, so I don't know. I feel like I'm missing out, not missing out on experience, but like I feel like I can't even speak on it. Simple fact that I'm not in that situation. I can't imagine going through it. That's, I mean, is everything all good? Are you like you got a roof over your head and everything, right? You tell me otherwise. I mean, we are pretty close, so it's a bit depressing. I can, yeah, I can safely say that probably makes people, I mean, sad and like recluse. What I mean by recluse is just like non-interactive and just kind of lethargic with daily tendencies. Um, but yeah, bro, hit me up, man. We got a game. We got a. I'm not sure where we can play, but I ain't got no Valorant keys to give out, by the way. So that's
Lying.
I ain't got drops enabled. But I think the big thing is I need to focus on looking at the camera because I'm like looking at the screen. Yeah. So we got to be professional, man. If we want people to, yeah. What's wrong with Valorant? We good. The sandwich check is gonna help out a lot. Yeah. People making the joke that they haven't seen their stimulus check yet.
Actually, technically, Mike, therapeutically speaking, it's frowned upon to be making direct eye contact while giving feedback because you don't want to establish a too big of a differential in the power dynamic. So, not to be professionally sound or anything, but
See, that's why I have him here because he can say stuff like that, and I'll be like, oh, all right, cool, I got it. Says CS:GO type games ain't for me. Ah, well, I guess we got to figure out what's for you then, brother. Animal Crossing is out.
yo, we got a good tutorial on Dynasty Warriors 8.
Oh my god, that guy was a godsend earlier, man.
Yeah.
He was he was telling us, he was schooling us all about Dynasty Warriors. That was crazy. Hey Mo, what mental health issues do you suffer from? He's all right. He's just dead.
Yeah. No, he ain't trying to hear it.
Oh wait, did you get you got your stimulus check, Beards? I think my dad said he got his 2 to 3 days ago. But I think that's the only person I've. Oh, you got yours last night. But yeah, that's pretty much. I mean, unless anybody got anything they want to discuss, I think that's pretty much run of the par for the stream. I don't want to get too long winded to where we like talk about every I would say every scenario in my life. That we can save those for a later date. There's some e-girl DMs I have to slide in. Also games I have to play because I haven't touched Final Fantasy VII in 2 days. What else? I'm sure Scotty wants to get back to being a wonderful boyfriend and caring and loving.
Two.
I'm not responsible, bro. If you die, I'm not. I didn't see anything. Um, but yeah, boys, I think I'm probably going to. I might keep stream on, play Overwatch a little bit. I think. Yeah, screw it. I'll play Overwatch for a little bit and hang out. Let me see. I gotta change my stream title here. What game did we say we were gonna play? Let's talk about that. Oh, Dynasty Warriors, but we gotta pull up. God dang it! I gotta set up PS4 to stream. Let's see.
Yeah, we'll have to come up with a list
Schedule.
of like topics and schedules. That way, we don't burn through everything, each
Right.
one.
Mm-hmm. See, about to head to White House to ask Trump myself where the check at.
You're checking my pocket, bro.
Oh man.
Got-
We need to play some Valorant. By OW misspoke and meant Valorant. Bro, I can't play Valorant on stream with all my friends who don't have Valorant keys. That's just rude. Wait, what the heck is this? Twitch TV User Center? Why is this? Okay, that's weird. I don't know what that is, but we're not clicking on that. That looks like scam. That looks like a scam if I've ever seen one. If Mo is here, she's still got a 1v1 me. I don't think she's here. No, that's... So you misread that. That was Mom of a Warrior. That's my mom. That's not Mo.
Boy, you better take that back. It's you don't want it. You don't want that 1v1.
Oh, God. That's wild. Not rude, just streamer privilege. True. Thanks for the 20. Alright. We are... I think we're Gucci. Kels, you got any input? She ain't trying to show her straight, like her face on stream chat, so you know.
She coming.
Oh, really? Now?
She coming.
At the end?
At the end.
I liked it here. I'm gonna sit there for that.
There you go.
I
That's
liked
the
it.
other roommate.
Really awesome.
Any
I liked
input?
it. Maybe like do something like pick something to talk about or something. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
You do that like this time you do for sure.
Right.
This was a good,
Yeah.
pilot
Yeah,
episode.
like an intro to it, give people an idea of what's gonna be going on.
Mm-hmm.
Also,
Mhm.
it shows me I really need to clean the office. Like I'm looking at, I got a mask next to me, like towel, glove, some lotion behind,
Ooh.
sock X thing
Right.
for shoes. Hey Kels, I'm gonna need those succulents, man. You better come up off them. I'm gonna put all of them on the shelves back here. Make this look pretty.
They're at this point they're just donors to
Yeah.
other succulents.
But yeah, that was good. I definitely enjoyed that, and I think honestly that could be like a pilot, to start this out, because
Mhm.
what's better than to, I would say, bring credibility to the stream than putting yourself out there and actually showing people that I'm not taking some random Joe Blow and like exploiting them. I'm actually doing my own self progression on stream. so people
Yep.
can actually see the progress in that.
Yep.
So that's good. One of these days we're gonna get Kelly up here. We're gonna get like diagnose her because I know she got some evil thoughts in her head. Uh,
Yeah, they're pretty quiet now.
they're pretty quiet now.
Yeah.
Mike, why is that lotion near the computer? It's
Huh?
because have you seen my skin color? It's black. We get ashy. We need lotion.
Yeah, y'all don't know. This guy right here, Mike, and Kelly behind me, sometimes they be looking like they be rolling around a flower. I mean, I don't know
I
what's
mean,
going
fair
on.
enough. I ain't even gonna front you, bro. Like he's right. He's right.
Really? Like, there's people I know. Here he comes, coming for our life like that.
Mm-hmm. Straighten that arm up too quick, they're gonna bleed. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, so I can't even front. Like one of the days, like Abe, I was doing a racing stream, and yo, I think I had joggers on. That's what it was. And Abe was like, "Yo, why are your ankles so ashy?" that was the first. That was, that was the first comment he said, and I'm like, "Bro, come on now." I'm like, "Don't do me like that." Literally the first comment out of his mouth. So yeah, that's why I keep the lotion next to the desk. The real reason.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah.
He did. I mean, it's Abe we're talking about. Come on now, Abe's like no filter. Abe doesn't have a filter at all. I gotta change this from like. Well, actually, I guess we can just chat. I can just change the title to hanging out. Matter of fact, yeah, that's probably mini quarantine work. Ooh, cute. Ignore me. All right, change the stream title here. Creator dashboards. We should watch some YouTube videos. I changed my stream title. A be stupid. Yo, I told A. So Angelo, I told him I threw you under the bus too. I ain't gonna lie. I'll tell the truth, but I threw a hoe under the bus even more. So like when we went up to New York, I told him about that whole scenario with you two and not being able to pick out food when we're in Walmart. So just throwing that out there. Being honest. It was like babysitting. I'm gonna say it. Do some if you laugh, you lose. Oh. Yeah, matter of fact, you could. I meant that time that Ho burned the ribs on the grill. But prior to all of that happening, when we got to New York, upstate New York, you guys took like 3 hours in Walmart. It's not ringing a bell. That's all Ho. No, that was you too. What do you mean? Roomies. That was literally both of you guys. You remember the one point where you had like just a case of beer in your hand and nothing else, right? I was like, yo, Angelo, throw something in the car. Oh, no, I'm good. Okay. All right. I don't know what you going to eat. Yeah, so Beard's Ho burnt the ribs, man. It was the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. Like me and Abe were, you could probably just mention Ho burning the ribs to Abe and he'll crack up laughing. It's like we're just sitting inside, chilling on the couch. He's supposed to be cooking the ribs, right? And like 15 minutes have definitely passed by now. I'm looking out the corner of my eye when I had two eyes at this point, and I could see smoke just coming out of the grill. And we're like, Ho, you gonna check on the ribs? Huh? Oh yeah, the ribs. Well, what's wrong? They burning. It's on fire. Oh, okay. Oh man, there's no urgency. There was no sense of urgency or anything. And he just got up. Oh, so that's what it was. So yeah, he typed it in the chat. That's what. You remember I told you he was looking at something on the counter as far as like alcohol to buy? because he
Right.
didn't know. That's the other thing that's what got me pissed off. Like, because he was the one who wanted to go to the liquor store, but he didn't know what he wanted.
Right.
So he got up to the counter, and he still doesn't have anything in his hands. And then he was like, "I'm just gonna buy this." Yo, and it was nasty. It was like some apple whiskey in a flask or something like that. And I'm like, oh, yo, you want the rest of this? That's exactly how it sounds. That's good times though. Like once COVID like just subsides, I think we need to get like another trip like that down because that was fun though. It was just really, it was hilarious. It was hilarious as shit because I can't make up half of this stuff. Ho is a special person. Like he really is a special guy. I mean that in the most caring and funny way that I can.
That's what I like it.
You know those people that are just gems? Like they don't know they're gems, but they're gems.
Yeah, got one behind me.
Shut it up.
Yeah, Kelly's a gem.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right about that. Didn't she try to put? You tried to put chicken in the pantry earlier.
Okay, I was starving. That was my first hour fasting with no meal. Okay? You can't blame me for the things I do coming off of a fast. That's not even fair.
You see that? No accountability.
Zero. None given.
No.
No.
She's gonna just be like, yeah, I did it. I owned up to it.
I mean,
All right, let me see.
All right, bro. I think I'm gonna hop off and get something to eat.
Yep. I'm gonna switch over. I was about to say GG's, but I'm like, yo, I can't be saying that. Like GG's for what? Talking about mental health? Are you serious? This guy is so unprofessional. Get him out of here. Hey, God. All right, I guess we'll discuss schedule later and everything like that.
All
Yeah.
right.
Appreciate it though. Bingo.